we have reached new heights of self-destruction in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we'd go and look at the latest data on immigration.
We're really depressing the viewers this episode,
Yeah, I know.
aren't we? I'd like
So
to
sorry.
apologise.
I'm so sorry. But before we begin, if you want to support us, go to lowcities.com, sign up and watch the Rumble live stream that I did with Bo on the term we were never asked. Because this is a term that has a great deal of power in it. And this is why I think people are afraid of even saying it. Because really, this has all been done against our will. No one has ever asked for this. No one has ever voted for this. It's always been the opposite, in fact. People have voted against it, and yet here we are. So the 2021 census revealed to us that about 75% of the people in England and Wales are English and Welsh. So 25% of the people in England and Wales are not English and Welsh. And we know exactly how many, 44.3 million, quote, white British, so English, Welsh, and some Scots. Native British people. This is down from the 2011 census. In the 2011 census, there were 45.1 million people who called themselves white British. So nearly a million English and Welsh people have left England and Wales. I don't blame them, to be honest. I got a taxi the other day, and this taxi driver was a Pakistani man from Wolverhampton. And he was telling me how his uncle had some property in India he was thinking about selling. And he was like, don't do that. And his uncle's like, well, why not? So, well, this country's going down, decaying. Everyone can see the decline in this country. And this taxi driver was like, yeah, people are just going to start leaving, I think. I'm like, they are. Like, they absolutely are. And we'll get into the net migration in a minute, because we know exactly how many people are leaving. And I just asked him, why do you think the decline is? Just don't know. I was like, do you ever see anyone talking about it on the TV? No. Do you ever see the politicians addressing why we're in decline? No. He's no idea. No one has any idea. There's just decline everywhere, and no one can seem to answer it. But anyway, yeah. So this is down from the 2011 census. In the last 10 years, 1 million English and Welsh people have left England and Wales. In 2021, net migration, which is the total left over after the people who emigrate are subtracted from the total, reached 500,000. So 1.16 million came in, and about 600,000 left, leaving us with a net migration of about 504,000, which is effing staggering, right? But it gets better than that. Well, when I say better, I mean it gets worse. But I mean, you'd think, well, a net migration of 500k, that's where the government were like, okay, look, there's something crazy going on. This is surely the destruction of our own country if we allow this to carry on. And then we got the net migration for last year.
Yep. Another 100,000.
Another record high. How wonderful. New heights. It's like we're rolling down a slope and we're just getting faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to hit the bottom and there's going to be a complete, absolute just crash. So 1.2 million people were allowed in, and 557,000 emigrated, which is about the same as last year. In fact, it's less people than last year that emigrated, the year before, sorry. So that's 606,000 people added to the UK population. And you'd be like, okay, surely now, finally, it can't possibly get any worse. And the Conservatives are like, are you sure? We can definitely make this worse.
Of course it can.
We can make this way worse. We can have 1 million net expected in 2023. But I love the framing. The Home Office fears. The Home Office fears. Fears. You're the ones who let them in. You are literally the gatekeepers of who gets visas in this country. Like, you're the one stamping, yeah, approved. And then, oh God, we're afraid that this stamping is just going to get to 1 million this year, 1 million net. It's like, then stop stamping visas.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're the ones doing this to us. Don't act like, well, this is out of our control. You're the ones in charge. I mean, they literally say they fear that it's going to be 997,000 people net this year, right? And of course, this is non-EU migration as well. Since Brexit and the end of freedom of movement with the European Union, the net migration has been mostly from non-European countries. So it's people with totally foreign cultures, totally different ways of life, and just a much more distant relationship with this country. So why is it so high? Well, the Migration Observatory in Oxford have told us it's unusually high, right? Several factors have come together at once, including the war in Ukraine, the humanitarian route for British Hong Kong national overseas status holders, and that's fine, but that's not accounting for all of it.
I know
at
why
all.
it's high. It's
Go on.
called Tory policy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's
That's it.
the policy of the UK Conservative
Yeah.
government. Yes, that's exactly it. Right. Increases in temporary work and study migration post-pandemic have contributed to net migration in the short run, although most are expected to leave the UK in a few years. Yeah, I'm sure they totally will. And so yeah, this is what they're saying there. And so it's like, right, so the gates are, I mean, they couldn't be more open. They're just totally open. We're not refusing anyone for any reason, apparently. I mean, we've taken in 50,000 invaders across the channel. Nothing has been done about that, really. And so we're just looking at the total obliteration of our country just through mass migration. This is why the country is in decline. This is why everyone can see the country is declining. Services can't afford this. Services, we've got to pay for all of this. These people who did not pay for any of the services are using the services. They're using the trains. They're using the roads. They're using the NHS. They're claiming benefits. They're doing these things. And you, the taxpayer, has to pay for all of this. And they have never paid taxes in this country because they literally didn't live here. So they can claim something they haven't paid for, and every year it's another 500,000, 600,000, a million. And so eventually this is just going to collapse. This is the source of the degradation. It is mathematically impossible for this to carry on. It is mathematically impossible that they could have paid in even if they'd wanted to. You know, it's just not possible, and we have to be honest about this. But don't worry, the Conservatives are on the case. Yesterday, the Home Office, tell you what, I rest easy now. Today we removed 57 people.
Oh, do you know what? Sometimes I criticise the government and the Tories sometimes, but then it's nice to know that we can do things when we try, and well done.
57 whole people. I mean, if it was 57,000, I'd be like, okay, that's a good start. Do that every day for the next 5 years, and maybe things will be under control. But 57, and these will be like the illegal invading migrants from across the channel, right? We've put them up in the hotels at our expense, which literally costs us billions, by the way. Again, your money, not theirs. And 57. So why are the Conservatives committed to destroying England? That's the question. And the answer is money. They're doing it for money, or what they think is money. Actually, it's not really money. It's really an abstraction on a graph of what they think money is. They're doing it because they think they're avoiding a recession. The UK economy is expected to avoid a recession this year, the International Monetary Fund has said, because it was expected would contract by 0.3%, but instead it's grown by 0.4%. Right, so millions of migrants in, 0.4% growth. Lowest growth in all of Europe. Millions of migrants, like Poland isn't taking millions of migrants, as Callum points out, as you'll see in a weekend segment coming up about this. Like Poland isn't taking it, and they've got higher growth than us, so what's going on? What's going on indeed? So this is just the way the Conservatives look at the economy in general. More people equals economic growth. And it's like, yeah, but the return on this gets lower and lower and lower until eventually there will not be economic growth because people are getting poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer and everything is collapsing around us. This is actually the slow road to destruction.
They're still, problem with the Tories is the one-dimensional. All they look at is the economy. And that might have been fine, 40, 50 years ago. It was fine when Thatcher was here because that was our big problem. We have so many more problems now, and just looking at the economy is creating so many more problems that they're not going to fix because those politicians, and I've worked this out many years ago, since we've had career politicians, all they worry about is the next election. So they're looking at short-termism all the time. Short-termism, good economy, or economy didn't go into recession. That's great for them.
But that's such a ridiculous metric, right?
Yes.
It's like, look, the GDP didn't go down. It's like, okay, but everyone's wages is going down every second of every day. Everyone's wages. And so it doesn't matter if the GDP, if everyone's wages go down by 5%, but you add in 10% more people, Economic growth. No, that's not economic growth. That's called reducing us to serfdom. That's called slavery. But then what is this doing to England generally as a country, right? I mean, Callum was nosing around through the census maps. He's found multiple neighbourhoods in London that are just 0% British. No English people in them, no Welsh people, no Scottish people, just totally foreigners. I mean, London itself, 40% first-generation immigrant, 37% English. So what are we doing? Just totally hollowing out our own civilization for 0.4% GDP growth.
My city of Manchester, when the census came out, a third of all the inhabitants of Manchester were born abroad.
Mental.
A third
Mental.
born abroad.
Well, it's 40% in London, and in other places like Luton, Leicester. It's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going. And as John points out there, it's not that there are 0% English. It's 100% diverse. You know, that's what it is. You're absolutely right. That's how they look at it, right? And so what's going on? What's the organised pushback? Oh, the organised pushback is actually totally disorganised, right? You've got Reclaim Party. Look, see, immigration's terrible. Join our party. Heritage Party. Look, see, immigration terrible. Join our party. Reform Party. Look, see, immigration terrible. Join our party. UKIP. Look, immigration terrible. Join our party. Get it together, lads. I don't want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different tiny pluralities of parties. That's really not going to win, right? You're going to just split what is what could be an effective right-wing bloc. You know, find a point of common ground, rally under it, so we have one name on the ballots when we go and vote. So you can get to, like, because I mean, Reform, like, should be the big boys, right? But they're not. And what they seem to take is essentially, when polled, like just the dissident right-wing vote. And that was at 9%. It's like, okay, great. Why can't we have a full spectrum, like, of people who are all on the same team? So we've got one thing to vote for, and we can get that up to 10, 12, 14, and we can really start pushing this and hopefully actually upend the Conservatives. Get them out. Get the Conservative base into something. But we can't do it while everything is fractured like this. It's not going to happen. And I'm not trying to, I mean, so I really like all of these people. Like, I know a lot of them personally. They're all really nice people. They're all doing their best. But this approach of being totally disunited will not work. And it's just, honestly, we just don't have any time left. Like, if you're not seeing the destruction of the country, the destruction of the economy, the destruction of standards, the destruction of everything around us, I mean, everyone is seeing the decline. If it's egos that's preventing people from uniting, I don't want to hear it. And I think that people watching probably don't want to hear it. I think people who are voting and looking at the country don't want to hear it. Get past your egos. Fix this. You're the ones who are trying to be the politicians. Let's see some action.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen. For you to set up a political party, or for you to run a political party, that's the focus. It's a bit like the heavyweight boxing championship. We've got 4 belts.
Yeah.
It's like the 4 top boxers all get together and go, do you know what? We're not going to fight each other to unify all the belts. Let's all just keep a belt each, and we're all going to be nice. What we're waiting for is someone to turn up, like a Thatcher, someone for the day, for now, who will take this on. We can't. These parties will not merge, will not work with each other to a great extent. We're just waiting for the Messiah.
But that's the thing. I'm not expecting a Messiah, but like small scale, like incremental change is absolutely possible, but not while everyone is disunited like this. And I know I sound angry because I am angry, right? And it's not that, like I said, it's not the fault. I like all of these people. I met all of these people. You know, I'm friends with a lot of these people, and it's just, and a lot of them are like, yeah, we'd like to work together. It's like, okay, well then start something. Like actually start, you know, a united party. You know, the United Patriots or something. I don't know. You know, bring these people in. Like, give them positions. Don't, you know, I don't want people to be like, well, I'm going to lose everything. Because I'm sure that's what they're thinking. I'll lose them. No, give them positions in the United Patriot Party. You know, whatever it is. Just do something. You know, do something for the love of God. Anyway.